Good morning, friends. It's good to see you. Let's all stand together. It's a long time running down a dead-end road. Look for something that could fill my soul. Never found what I was searching for. It's a long time running from a messed up past. You can't go forward when you're looking back. I ain't looking back anymore. And he called my name, and he stole my shame. And everything changed when I came running home. And out of the dark, and into his arms. And no more running away. I'm running home. I'm running home. I'm running home. Running circles trying to be good enough. I'm far from perfect. I found perfect love in the arms that won't let go. Got a heart on fire, got a wind at my back. Sing hallelujah, I am free at last. Every day I'm running home. And he called my name, and he stole my shame. And everything changed when I came running home. And out of the dark, and into his arms. And no more running away. I'm running home. I'm running home. I'm running home. I'm running home. Run this race to my final step. Sing this song till my final breath. And let the weight of this world go. Gonna be no tears, gonna be no pain. When I see that smile on my Savior's face, I won't be walking, I'll be running home. He called my name, and he stole my shame. And everything changed when I came running home. And out of the dark, and into his arms. And no more running away. I'm running home. evil is rising. You're rising higher with power to save, with power to save. You keep hope alive. You keep hope alive from the beginning to end. Your word never fails. You keep hope alive because you are alive. Jesus, you are alive. There had a stronghold, but your life was stronger. Rose from the grave, rose up from the grave. When evil is rising, you're rising higher with power to save, with power to save. You keep hope alive from the beginning to end. Your word
never fails.
you keep hope alive because
You are alive.
Jesus. Amen.
You, Lord, oh, your mercy never fails me. All my days I've been held in your hand. From the moment that I wake up until I lay my head, I will sing of the goodness of God. All my life you have been faithful. And all my life you have been so, so good. With every breath that I am able, oh, I will sing of the goodness the goodness of God. Yeah, yeah, yeah. Your goodness is running after, it's running after me. Your goodness is running after, it's running after me. With my life laid down, I surrender now, and I give you everything. Your goodness is running after, it's running after me. Your goodness is running after, it's running after me. Your goodness is running after, it's running after me. With my life laid down, I surrender now, and I give you everything. Your goodness is running after, it's running after me. And all my life you have been faithful. And all my life you have been so, so good. With every breath that I am able, I will sing of the goodness of God. Yeah. All my life you have been faithful. And all my life you have been so, so good. With every breath that I am able, I will sing of the goodness of God. I'm gonna sing of the goodness of God.
Thank you. You can have a seat. Thank you for being here today. I'm so glad that you chose to be here. My name is Tim. If we've never had the chance to meet before, I just want to say hi. One of the ways we can connect, you can text the word hello to 812-408-1188. If you're with us in person, you can scan that QR code in the chair back in front of you. It's just one of the ways we can get connected around here. Sometimes I love to hear about inside stories to things, and so I'm going to tell you guys a little bit of this is legit, a little peek behind the curtain. So they put things on the back wall for me because I forget stuff a lot and during the announcements. So if you'd like, turn around and look at the top line where it says, "Welcome, I'm Tim. Watch me do the chicken dance." That's one of our values here is that we laugh hard, we laugh loud, and we laugh often because we have a joy-filled God. And so somebody on our staff laughed hard, loud, and often when they thought, hey, I'm going to put that on the back wall for Tim. I am not going to do the chicken dance, just to clarify. I know, you're disappointed. No, I'm not. Thank you guys again for being here. Many of you that call this your home church support the things we do around here financially, both inside and outside our walls. And I want to say thanks for giving. You know, you can always do that through theridge.org/give. You can do it in that app. You can also, as you exit in the drop boxes, is one of the ways that we do that. When you give, you support things like an after party. That's something we're having today, right after this service. It's a great way to get connected around here. If you've never been to that, I want to invite you to do that. They're going to meet right at the cafe outside these doors right after that service. And so you can join us. You don't have to have signed up beforehand, but it's a great way to connect to people, to talk about maybe what are my next steps or ways that I can be involved, or maybe joining a group. Maybe that's something you want to do. And if you've already been to the after party, but you're still interested in a group, you can do that through the app too. You can reach out to us there and tell us you want to be a part of a group. We're getting ready to start a new group season. It's a great way to get connected and know people here as well. So we are getting ready to continue our series today called Time's Up.
And Kyle, our student pastor, will be speaking today. But before he does that, I want you to check this out.
Landon, if you had an extra hour in your day, what would you do with it?
Spend time with my wife.
Emma, if you had an extra hour in your day, what would you do with it?
I would go to my best friend Lucy Reinhardt's house, probably.
Until recently, when I was taking call, it would be probably to sleep.
What about now that you're not on call?
I would like to turn it into a fishing moment.
Jonathan, if you had an extra hour in your day, what would you do with it?
Actually practice more music.
I'd probably take an extra hour of sleep.
If you couldn't sleep, what would you do?
Probably go out to eat.
Any favorite restaurants?
Camilla's.
I would probably work.
He would, but I would probably talk to people more.
Amelia, I have one question for you.
Okay.
If you had one extra hour in your day, what would you do with it?
Well, I'm a mom of 3, so I would probably sleep.
Probably find more time to spend with God, honestly. I don't think I really do that enough in my overall daily basis, so.
That's hard. I'd probably spend more time with God.
I am here with Liz. Liz, if you had an extra hour in your day, what would you do with it?
I would want to learn something new. I'd probably either go up to a stranger and say, hey, what's something I could learn, or just type it into Google. I also keep a notes app of things I want to learn. So I would just try to learn something new.
Tracy, I have one question for you. If you had one extra hour in your day, what would you do with it?
Oh my goodness gracious. I would focus on some good me time.
I would read or nap. Probably start reading and then nap. That's most likely.
What's your favorite type of book to read?
I like thrillers and scary stuff.
Here with Dom. Dom, if you had one extra hour in your day, what would you do with it?
Probably sleep, honestly. I sleep a lot more than I should, but I don't mind it at all.
If you couldn't sleep, what would you do with it?
If I couldn't sleep, probably hang out with friends.
Kyle, if you had one extra hour in your day, what would you do with it?
Something relaxing.
Do you like to read?
No.
Do you like to watch TV?
I mean, sometimes.
What about, do you like to cook?
I like to be fed.
What would you like to have a dessert or time with your family? What do we think?
I mean, a 1 hour dessert with my family would be delightful. That's my best answer for now. Got some movie magic here. That's me. Listen, I have some regrets about that clip because that interview took place the day of the mission trip. I was in between a dozen different things when Grace asked me a very straightforward question. What would I do with one more hour of time? And honestly, it broke me for a second. You could actually see it on my face. We're going to pull it up here just so you can experience this. This is how you know I'm broken right now. Somebody said earlier that this almost looks like a loading button if you think about it that way, just like stuck. I'm glad we all have the ability to enhance and crop like we're in an episode of CSI now. Have you ever been so just distracted by something else? Just a very straightforward question is enough to just throw you. I wasn't even sure for a second if an extra hour in the day was like a good thing or if it was like a trap. Like some of the dudes in here know some questions husbands get are traps. So just for a second, I was like, is this okay? But eventually, Grace led me to a perfectly good answer, and I have to stand by it. A 1 hour dessert with my family would be very entertaining. I've been thinking about which dessert. I know you've been wondering. And I think I'd pick a warm chocolate chip skillet cookie with vanilla ice cream, okay? But that's only if we're doing like a sit-down thing, because I know that some of you are like me. In our family, we're more of like a drive-through kind of family. We prefer the hot eats and cool treats of Dairy Queen. And I have 4 words that a former student of mine taught me to get, and I mean this, perfect ice cream every time you go to Dairy Queen. Even if you don't want to hear those words, I'm about to tell you, so cover your ears if you don't want to know this, but double extra Oreo Blizzard. That's right, you can order double extra. They don't always do that for a second because they have to call the manager over and like, how do I do it? They can do it, okay? And if it sounds overall like it's just like a frozen brick of cookie to you, you're imagining it correctly, okay? It's wonderful. It's wonderful. And I know some of you are sitting here keeping score, and you've realized that my top 2 desserts are cold cookie and warm cookie. I'm pretty predictable like that. I don't think I could eat dessert for like a whole hour, but I'll try it once. The rest of the hour, it would require 2 things, a place to relax and a place with easy access to a bathroom. Because I'm pretty sure I'm lactose intolerant, but undiagnosed, so not to brag. I would also want my family nearby, so that's 3 things. I'm really bad at counting. We'd probably play Mario Kart or something Pokemon related. Maybe we'd watch an episode of Bluey, Bluey, the little Australian dog. Her dad, Bandit, that's who I want to be when I grow up. I asked my kids, what'd you do with 1 hour? And they said, swimming while eating pizza. I'm pretty sure you're not supposed to do that, but swimming while eating pizza and watching Star Wars. And that was really good for my nerd dad heart to hear. I was just very proud of the way they would choose to spend that extra hour. The question today is how would you spend that extra hour of time? In addition to the video intro today, we had another set of video answers from a couple weeks ago, and I tallied all of those results up. And for the question, how would you spend an additional hour, we basically got 4 different groups, 39 total replies. And here's the categories. Basically, we had being with family and loved ones. Yeah. We had resting and relaxing, just right next to it, virtual tie. And then we had some for growing in faith, wisdom, or creativity. And then this last one here, working. How'd that sneak in there? Why does it always sneak in? Why does it always just creep up on us? It's always just there. We love more time to grow in our faith, to grow in wisdom, actually put time towards our creative endeavors. But the biggest thing we want, again, a virtual tie. We want time with our loved ones and time to rest and relax. We don't get enough of either. This is week 3 of Time's Up, a series that started with Adam talking about prioritizing our time with God in mind. And last week, Reed talked about how impactful your time with community can be. So am I, the youth pastor, here to talk to you guys about family or about time? Yes, that's the answer. Yes. It's hard to untangle the two when we're doing them well. The reverse is true too, though. Often, when we're struggling, something is off with our family life. Something is off with our loved ones. I'm going to bounce between those 2 terms today, family, loved ones. It's important you understand, I'm talking about the people maybe you've known the longest, or the people that your heart longs for, even when you don't even like each other right now. You might be related to those people genetically, but not always. Some of you associate the words family and rest together naturally. And plenty of people in here, I'm sure, had a perfectly nice and restful day with their family just yesterday. But there are plenty of us that associate the word family more often with conflict, maybe pain. If that's you today, I can relate. I've lived that. However it is you relate today, to your loved ones. I bet, at least I hope, that you have a memory of a time when you were all able to be together in a way that was restful, in a way that was peaceful. Can you think of one? Maybe you always watched Colts games together. I know some families who lived or died by what Peyton Manning did on a Sunday afternoon in the early 2000s. And I also remember a certain Sunday evening where he happened to beat my Chicago Bears when I was on the phone with Adam Johnson, and he gloated just a little bit. But maybe your family tradition is something that really no one knows about. My family used to go every Thursday to this little Chicago-style restaurant. We'd get Italian beef, we'd get the hot dogs, and then we'd walk down the street to a comic book store just to see what was new. Sometimes I'd get an issue of Batman or Ninja Turtles, but a lot of times I just looked around just to see what existed. There were so many things to see in that shop. I remember the toys and the vinyl records. I remember the used CDs. I remember that store smelled like old hot tubs. It's in an old spa store. Do you have any places like that just start to flood your mind with specific memories? Maybe something from growing up. Maybe yours is a family vacation. Remember being a kid, taking those road trips. Maybe it was with the grandparents or on the way to go see them. Do you have yours yet? Your happy place, maybe a happier time? I'm going to ask you, when was that? When was that? What I'm scared of, what I believe is true, is it was too long ago. However long ago it was, it's been too long since those days. We just don't get enough. Because life gets in the way, we get in the way. Our attention gets split in a million different directions. Take a deep breath. It's always been this way. This is an old adage here I've got for you. If the devil can't make you sin, he'll make you busy. Almost really it's an expectation now that no one has time for anything. I hear it out there every week in the atrium. Hey, how have you been? Good, just busy, busy, busy. And we say it to ourselves too. We think we're too busy to pray. That's one I hear a lot. Too busy for a podcast. Too busy to hang out. There's no one day that people aim to just stop spending time together. It just kind of happens. Parents of grown children know especially what I'm talking about. That time is fleeting. We have to take every opportunity we can to restore rest. It benefits your own life, it benefits your friends, it benefits your family. We should make room to rest together. The hurried world is not going to slow down on its own, but thankfully, we have a God who knew that we would need to be reminded over and over to slow down. He actually built the pattern we'd need to make peace with that as he built literally everything else. This is what I mean. This is the Bible, Genesis 2, chapter 2, just a couple pages in. It says this: on the seventh day, God had finished his work of creation, so he rested from all his work. And God blessed the seventh day and declared it holy, because it was the day when he rested from all his work of creation. The word rested in this passage, it's from a Hebrew word, Shabbat. Today we'd say Sabbath. And that just means stop. Sabbath means enough. It's kind of literally like to clock out. But it's not just that, because it also means to delight. So So God's rest means to both end your work and start celebrating. These directions from God were the very beginning of people stopping, coming together to praise him as a unified group. But who was in their group back in those days? Well, people lived with their families, their aunts and uncles, everyone that it took to make a family run. And at the time the book of Genesis was formally recorded, God had just rescued his people from slavery to the Egyptians. It was not automatically sunshine and roses, though. They were running out of food in the desert. And God provided food for them through a special bread that he called manna. Literally means bread from heaven. And they were able to collect manna off the ground every morning except the seventh day. God provided a double portion on the sixth day to make up for it, though. So we've got this 6 on, 1 off pattern. Why? Because God wants his followers to rest. He wants to make sure everyone in their households is resting. God did not have a limit on him where he, the seventh day, couldn't make bread. It was all for his people so that they would take time. Now, did they listen to God and then just live happily ever after? The answer to that question in the Bible is always no. No, they did not. They were working on this plan with God. He was trying to get them into this pattern. And we pick up here in Exodus chapter 16, 28 and 29. The Lord asked Moses, "How long will these people refuse to obey my commands and instructions? That they must realize the Sabbath is the Lord's gift to you." They did not realize. If all this talk of rest today is foreign to you, it's the way it's literally always been. Something in us thinks we always have to be working in order to have enough or be enough or maybe to have value at all. My friends, God is the one who gives us value. God is the one who is enough, not you. Not your list of accomplishments and not your take-home pay. God is enough. When work is your default, rest can feel like it's an interruption or a punishment or even, time out. But God modeled during creation that it's both okay and necessary to stop producing and rest, to stop producing and trust him. Rest is a blessing to receive, not a rule to follow. God is setting the standard in these scriptures, not for himself to rest. He doesn't need it, but he knows we do. So he sets the standard so maybe we'll actually do it, because we don't get enough. God wants to lead everyone to restorative rest. In the New Testament, Jesus calls himself the Lord of the Sabbath, the Lord of rest. That's one of my favorite titles for Jesus. Jesus promises that rest will one day be eternal. Eternal rest sounds pretty good. 30 minutes on TikTok is not rest. 30 minutes of the news is not rest either. I don't care who your favorite provider is. It's not rest. We're not always able to recognize it when rest goes missing from our lives either. At least not rest as the way God sees it. Because again, his example of rest is to stop what you're doing and delight. So delight in what exactly? Everything. Everything. All of God's creation. Marvel at it like a brand new baby takes in the world. Yeah. Look at it like a kid looks at Christmas lights, or like the wise men used to watch the night skies. God's creation is good enough on its own without us getting overly involved. We can look at things the way Bill Nye looks at science, or the way that little Kyle used to look around that comic store, or read Narnia books. I know I said earlier in that video I don't like reading. It's kind of a lie. I like reading. I just don't think I have enough time for it usually. But excitingly, I can tell you about something that's kind of changed my life the last couple of years. Do you guys know about audiobooks? Yeah, you can get a bunch of them for free from library apps, and you can listen to books, often read by the author themselves, all sped up. So I don't have to try to follow along in a book, and I have the added bonus that every book is actually read to me by Alvin of Alvin and the Chipmunks. It's pretty good, yeah. One of the first books that I listened to at this warp speed, ironically, was called The Ruthless Elimination of Hurry. So I didn't do that one right. I messed that one up pretty good. The Ruthless Elimination of Hurry. That was never going to be an easy read for me. There's a couple excerpts, though, I really want to share with you because they hurt. Hurry is violence on the soul. Violence, yeah. Then this, hurry and love are incompatible. It's from a pastor named John Mark Comer. Hurry and love, incompatible? Some of us, that's rubbing us the wrong way right now, and I think it's because you know it's true. Think of the go-to verses on love. Think of every wedding you've ever been to, okay? And they get to there, they've already come down the aisle, and someone says, love is patient. Love is patient. Patience is the opposite of hurried. They're not compatible. Resting means more than just an absence of work, too. We have to actively seek it out. We have to shape our lives to fit God's pattern. Remember, originally 6 days on, 1 day off. Do you think you could find 1 day a week to consistently rest? We think we have a pattern here in America of 5 days on and 2 days off, but I promise you, we are much closer to 7 days on and 0 days off. Saturday was the original day off in Genesis, the way it's described, but we use it for extra work now too. House projects, chores, chauffeuring to all the tournaments. I see you guys out there. How can we combat the hurry? Well, there's a couple of big steps. The first is this. We need to rest together. We need to actually do it. So how? How do we actually make time for this? I found one thing that actually helps. This one weird trick. Have a gimmicky theme. Okay, what am I talking about? I think we all know. You guys heard of Taco Tuesday? Yeah, LeBron tried to buy that name, but he can't because we all use that name, Taco Tuesday. Maybe you guys do this one, maybe Throwback Thursday, Way Back Wednesday. That's a day where you just get to celebrate nostalgia. That's perfect for me. I've been trying to institute in my house Sleepy Sundays, where after we get home, we just go right to bed, right then and there. They've settled for naps, but we'll find it. We'll find the right rhythm. We don't have it all figured out at our house, but we did spend an hour last week trying to come up with these little mini family traditions, things you already do, but maybe lose time for along the way. That's what we're talking about, trying to find time to do together. You have to be willing to let everyone add to those little family traditions too. I told my daughter about going to get comic books on Thursday nights. And she's like, that's cool, Dad, but like, did you actually ever read them together? And I was like, no. And she's like, what if we read together? And so we started that just last week. And it was amazing. It was really wonderful. The last time I read with my now 9-year-old daughter, I think I was reading from books where like you stick your fingers up through them and there's like little pop-up characters. And look, it's been a minute since we read together. Maybe that's true for you too. But it's not too late to start doing what you once loved together again. It's not too late. Make more of those times. So read together, play together, make up silly games. In our house, I don't know if it's a game, but once a day we can all call family hug, and we have to stop what we're doing, get up, and join arms as a family. We can all do that once. Just huddle up for a minute. Just be together. I don't actually remember if that was my idea or if that was Daniel Tiger's idea, though. You guys know Daniel Tiger? Or maybe his originator, Mr. Rogers' Neighborhood. It's a beautiful day in the neighborhood, a beautiful day. Nobody wants to sing this one. That's okay, but I love that song. Daniel Tiger, he's really perfect for this final point because you need to make their thing your thing. I wasted a lot of time trying to make my kids watch old episodes of Mr. Rogers on Amazon Prime. I'm going to help you out. They're all up there in the square black and white format. And I don't know if your kids are like my kids, but that didn't quite hold their attention. They liked the HD version with all the colors and the widescreen. I didn't. I liked the old one. But part of finding real rest means that you have to make their thing your thing. So that meant I needed to learn the Daniel Tiger's Neighborhood song. I needed to learn the new characters from that show. That's where parents of older students can learn something here too. I think it's easy to say that we have been growing distant from our loved ones, but it's especially easy to grow apart when we haven't been learning what they love. We have to learn what they love. And if your mini traditions, as you're coming together, if they sound like they're basically a dad joke, that's when you know you're coming into the right territory. Then all you got to do is lose track of time. You know you are resting correctly when you lose track of time and can't believe how long it's been. Maybe you only see your kids every other weekend. Maybe the last time you saw your best friends in person was for a wedding that is now no longer legally in effect. Without getting into a whole other message, families can be complicated. They bring complicated feelings. And there's good reasons, I understand, good reasons that you don't interact like you used to sometimes. But I have to ask you, could you start with 15 minutes? Genuinely. Like maybe you need to send a text first that says, I don't know where to start, but I miss you. Ask God to move through those words when you say them. Another way we can devote ourselves to resting intentionally is to cut before you add. Cut before you add. That's really just a way that we approach filling our calendars. It applies to everyone, all ages, all families, all singles. Before you take on more regular commitments, you need to first take an honest assessment of what you're already committed to. You know, can you genuinely say that a new weekly activity is a good idea? Or if you've been overstressed already, maybe don't. Maybe if you can't remember your last good Saturday together, maybe you should pass on that next weekly opportunity. It's important to cut before you add and take the honest assessment. It might mean saying no to a great dance class that's an hour away and saying yes to one that's 15 minutes, a lot closer to home. You have to ask yourself, does this choice create restorative time? We have to be willing to make choices that do. We have to make choices for restorative time for ourselves and for the ones who count on us to help their schedules. We have to give God the chance to make something even more beautiful by making room for Him. In our household, that means we make decisions based on what our kids actually actively want to do. I don't know what you guys do in your house, and maybe it's been working up to this point. But I encourage you to check it out and cut before you add. Because I'm telling you guys that things that are good can often be even better. Students have the toughest schedules to combat, and I've been at odds with student busyness for years. I'm excited to say that I think I found a way to help with that, at least a little. Starting in September, one Sunday a month, we, the student ministry, will be meeting right after second service for something new that we're calling Lunch Club. So 7th through 12th graders will be able to hang out right after church for a meal, and then something fun will follow, like a movie or kickball. It's going to be perfect for new students just getting used to things. And the days that we meet right after church, we will not be meeting in the evening. And additionally, one other Sunday night per month, we will be off as well. You might be saying, why? I thought things were going so good with the youth ministry, Kyle. They are. Things have never been better. Those guys bring a smile to my face every day. And the reason we're taking time off is to make more room for family, to make room for a weekly student-led Bible study, to make room for learning about God with your people. I could talk about this for an hour, but I won't do that to you right now. If you are interested in hearing more about the future of student ministry, though, come hang out tonight. We're having a regular programming, but we're calling it the open house. So we'll have a time of worship and games. We'll have food before. I got a bunch of different kinds of cereal for tonight, so get excited. It's always a breakfast connection. And then we're just going to talk about the year to come. So if you have students, please come in that tonight, if they're in that 7th through 12th grade age range. We can't wait to tell you about the exciting year to come. In a book called Sticky Faith, Dr. Kara Powell of the Fuller Youth Institute says, kids experience Jesus Christ when adults in the church give them grace, time, and genuine love with no hidden agenda. I believe that. If you've been on the edge about attending student ministry before, let this new approach be the push that you need. Come hang out tonight, 6 to 8, students and parents. Maybe the new schedule makes the idea of being a mentor on Sunday nights not as scary. If that's the case, we need you. If you have the time in your night, in your week to help volunteer, to watch kids, we need you. Thank you all for your help already in fighting the good fight for teenagers and smelling all of their many weird smells. If you're interested in that stuff at all, the QR code right in front of you has a link to signing up for the mentoring interest form, and we would love to have you. Or come tonight and talk to me. We're almost out of here, but I keep thinking about that chart from the beginning. The one with all of our responses. What we do with one more hour. Any combination of these goals, honestly, is a pretty good blueprint for what resting together should look like. Well, except for this guy again, right? Work. It's a bummer to see on the list, But I can sympathize. One of our friends who mentioned work in the video today said that he was having trouble adjusting to life, no longer being on call. I've done that before. If you've done on-call work, it can take a while to kind of feel like a person again. When I haven't been working in churches, I've been working in child welfare organizations. So I've worked at residential centers. I've worked as a foster care worker. But my most difficult position was called family crisis worker. My organization would get a call at any time of day from a police station dealing with a family. And sometimes a child had run away. Sometimes that child was being prevented from returning home. And it was my job to make a written compromise that everyone could agree to so that everyone can come home. Those crisis conversations would sometimes go for hours. Sometimes they would go across multiple days. Sometimes the families never reunified. And sometimes they did. And the families that made it all had this in common. They were all encouraging, and they were all patient. The conversations that didn't end so happily, though, those are the ones that have a way of sticking with you. I spent 3 days once with a father and a daughter who could not agree on anything. I thought I'd finally made a break in their case when I discovered they both had hundreds of hours into the same game, this fantasy game called Skyrim. And I thought, surely this is something they've done together and they can talk about. Well, I brought it up. I regretted it immediately because apparently you can make your own choices in that game too, and they didn't like any of the choices they had made virtually either. So, cats and dogs, these people, you see, they were both at level 250 plus. I don't even know how you do that, but they had never played a minute of it together. And more than that, they never even talked about it. This is, if you're here today, you love video games. I do too. This is not a guilt trip, but it is a reminder to make the things you love accessible to your family. If it's something you give that much time to, make it something that they can give time and attention to as well. If you've been struggling to connect or reconnect as a family, I'm going to leave you today with one tip. One thing I always did with every family in crisis that I worked with. This week, just once for 1 hour, think of a favorite thing you used to do and make room for it this week. Even if it's just you the first time you do it. Maybe you like to shoot hoops, or maybe you have some family who'd like to play a card game with you. Maybe it's just a decision like you need to take the long way home. I've really enjoyed lately taking Route 31 when possible instead of Interstate 65. I just take that extra time to talk. Maybe call an old friend. Maybe call your mom or dad. Or if you're a mom or dad already, maybe it's time to call that grown-up son or daughter. I know the time is fleeting. Sometimes if I have the kids with me, I'll take a chance to introduce some old songs that I used to love to them. They love that. I don't embarrass them at all, but the big thing I do after that is we take the time to learn their favorite songs. Because it doesn't matter how active your activity really is. You have to just make time for together. You guys pray with me? Father, please forgive us today. We still do not know what we're doing. Please show us the path to a healthy and abundant time with our family and friends. And God, I pray for unity in our hearts and in our minds and in our words, in our world. Yes, that your goodness would be so clear to us, that your abundant family time and time with loved ones would be all around us, and that we could see
from every angle possible how beautiful you are as we continue to erase fear and worry and hurry from our lives. So lead us in the ways we should go with the ones we love most, and may we find rest at least as often as we schedule what steals it. In Jesus' name.
Thank you guys for being here today. Just a reminder about our after party. If you want to stick around for that, you can meet in the cafe. Maybe you've got some questions about what you've heard today. Maybe you're trying to work through what a next step looks like that in your life. We're going to have some folks down front. If you're watching with us right now, you can reach out in the chat. We'd love to talk to you about that. Maybe you just want somebody to pray with you. Maybe for you, next step is baptism. We have one coming up, and you want to let somebody know that. You can do that either of those ways as well. We will see you guys next week. Have a great day.